Welcome to the 2400 Block Podcast with your host, Jonnyroobs.
Deku, and then the one in the right white frame is a Jin Sun Woo from Solo Leveling. And I have one more, but here, I gotta lift it. Give me 1 second. I got it right here in the back. I saw this at the convention this year.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I know. Basically, the entire I saw it online, but I didn't think I'd be able to find one. But they had the piece online. I saved it, but when I went to the convention, it was the last one they had. So, and the thing is,
that's good. You went for it.
I'd say I paid for that one, and I'd say for that one I paid like maybe a good $80. That's because it's glass
$80?
too. It's glass on the inside, so I paid for the frame and the frame and the mat I paid for afterwards at Hobby Lobby. Same thing for the Jin Sun Woo picture, except that one's not glass. That was not glass.
Nice.
So.
Well, we got one great masterpiece here, and he's Donte Washington. Donte, it is so good to see you. It has been a long time. What was it, like, 8-10 years ago? I forgot now. I lost track.
I'd say about 8 or 9 years ago, man. I'll be honest.
Oh my goodness.
And thank you for allowing me to be your guest today.
Oh, you're very welcome. I've been actually looking forward to it. You were like one of the many people that I have listed that I want on this show, but I just trying to put you guys like on the later part. I'm like, let me get these guys maybe, a few months down the line.
Yeah, understandable, because I know.
And here I am, and here we go.
Well, definitely.
So, we started off, working in a third-party retail inventory company. So that's how I got to know Donte over here. He's not just my guest, so we already know each other. So
yes, sir. Shoot,
yeah.
Years at Wisp, man. Shoot, one of the most dependable guys I've been able to work with, and it was an honor while I was working there with you and Riza, and also Mr. Anthony. So I want to shout his name out as well.
Nice. Yeah, sure has been a long time, bro, and I've enjoyed working with you, during those years. I know it's probably did I work with you probably 2-3 years, I think?
It was about 3 years, yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sense of that. And I think presently Antonio and Paris are still working there, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, time flies, and you won't believe this, but they got new scanning machines too.
Oh, wow, really? No.
Yeah, it's just like the ones you normally would see in the warehouse. Yeah. It's just like that now. It's not like the big machine that we used to have. Well, I don't want to show it here, but
oh no, I get it. Trust me.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, it's good to have you on the show here. I have all my questions laid out. I actually put them here on the clipboard. I'm not that kind of guy that likes to read off the screen. So I'll just rather read it off the paper, and I'm sure you got a good read already with these questions lined up for you.
Yes, sir.
Are you kind of nervous? Is this like your first time on the podcast, by the way?
Actually,
Fe-
on
featuring you?
first time on a podcast, yes, but doing a digital interview like this with somebody
Uh-huh.
directly like this is not my first time. Because I when I
Oh,
was
okay.
I would say about maybe last year when I was looking for new employment, I was actually doing face-to-face interviews here on camera.
Oh, wow.
So, but on a podcast, this is my
Wow.
first time.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, okay, let me just do a little bit of some catching up here. I know we worked together at the inventory company. What happened afterwards? What kind of work did you do after inventory?
Well, after I left from WIS, I literally went
Mm-hmm.
from actually at the same time before I had left WIS, I ended up employing with Amazon. Uh,
Oh, okay.
I was working with for there for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
I was working with them in their McKinley Park area, which used to be known as DCH1. Used to be their old facility over at McKinley Park before it was
Mm-hmm.
closed down after sometime after I left. And shout out to DC to those who to my friends from Amazon as well. And then from there, while I was working there, I ended up employing with another company, Excel Enterprises. So
Uh-huh.
from there I had transitioned from that job to working at Excel because due to the fact of I was working during the day instead of working at night. So compared to I was working nights at Amazon. Then
Mm-hmm.
I shift to a afternoon shift. But then when things had to collapse, I ended up being shifted from there to going back to nights. So I had decided
Oh.
to change over to work a day job, which was very beautiful because I was able to work there for 5 years.
Uh-huh.
So I was working there 5 years. Um, great employees, great associates, and also uh, well informed head managers and bosses because they had believed in me. And actually, one of my friends from Excel just recently got married. So he
Oh,
just got
nice.
married recently, and another
Uh-huh.
friend of mine. That's why I had the picture in the back because he actually reminded me because he's a Power Rangers fan.
Oh,
My
sweet.
old manager Brandon.
Uh-huh.
So from there, I had moved from there to working for another company at a law firm, but unfortunately I didn't last a year. So around that time
Mm-hmm.
so I'd say about a month after I left I was let go from that position. I ended up working at the current company I'm at now. So I've been with them so far for over a year. So I've been with them since July of 2024
Mm-hmm.
and it made a full year in July 2025. And recently I've been doing well over there, uh, working working as a working specialist for under a law firm.
Oh, nice. Now, through all these companies that you have worked for, are they mainly more on the you're doing mainly more on the office side,
Uh,
customer
Originally,
service side?
mainly from an office position. So
Okay.
while I was working for Excella, and then my other company, and then also currently Epic, I was working in an office position. So I was in the
Oh,
office every
nice.
day, working working on computer, working on documents,
Mm-hmm.
scanning, printing, usually working on mail, depending on what it is. I mean, currently right now I'm not working in the mail department, so I'm currently working just working in the workers room with an amazing team.
Great, great. So that's a big change from inventory, huh?
Yeah, most definitely. And it's a little bit easier, but I still got my heavy lifting, but it's a little less
Yeah.
easier on the body at times.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Anyways, we are also got all these questions that I want to ask you, man. I'm sure you you looked at most of this, and I'm sure this is probably like overwhelming, right?
I'm so used to people
Uh
answering
huh.
questions left and right, so I have no problem
Okay.
asking because usually I would say even this year family members and friends ask me about the convention and also
Uh-huh.
ask me about me cosplaying. So I'm so used to
Oh,
it. So it's like this is like become second nature.
okay. Wonderful. I'm glad you're very comfortable there. All right. So, which area of Chicago you come from?
Currently, I would say I am from the south side of Chicago. I've been born and raised here for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm literally like Riverdale, like for most of my life here. So I've been here for years. I'm even years, decades later. I still treat this as my main home because I remember I used to be somewhere else when I was a kid, but I know that my
Uh-huh.
father it was a place that my mom and dad's first place, but it was under my grandmother's name. I ain't gonna say it's under my grandmother's name. I don't want to get incorrect on that one, so let me stop myself. So I know the original
Okay.
place I remember was like 9 years before I moved over here. So when I was here, I don't remember too much about that, but I do
Mm-hmm.
remember most of my life here on the south side.
Oh, that's good. How you like it so far?
I actually love it. Actually, I ain't gonna lie, I love it here. It's quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too much of an issue. Easy transportation back and forth, taking public transportation, and also being able to come home to a bed, come home to the hard work I usually put in. And this is the
Uh-huh.
main reason why I see it because I come in this office, I see that the hard work that I put into this, like the years and dedication I put into years dedication to hard work, no matter what it is.
Wow. You know we really miss you, dude.
Uh,
I know how
I
much
miss you
hard
guys
work
too.
you put in and helping us out, man.
Mm, appreciate it, man.
All right. All right. So yeah, this goes on to my next question. You probably have answered half of it already. What was your childhood like growing up over there?
My childhood, I would say I was originally I was a single child. I ain't gonna lie, I was a good
Oh.
kid. You know, I had
Uh-huh.
little troubles every now and then, but this will lead into probably one of your next questions because I'll
Oh.
admit, um, this is what led me, and this will probably connect into the later question.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, when I started going to school out here, I wasn't reading as much. But when it came down to it, and you could attest my mother to this, she will literally tell you that she said you got to read something. So
Uh-huh.
so we went to the library. The first thing I picked up was I think it was the Titans volume 6 or 7. It was like the
Okay.
first 5 issues in a graphic novel. I remember the cover so perfectly because it had like most of the Teen Titans that I saw from the TV show, and also
Uh-huh.
but it had like different two or three other different characters. So like on the cover, if I remember correctly, it's Robin, but it wasn't Dick Grayson. It was Tim Drake,
Okay.
Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, Cyborg, but also on the cover was Cass, Cassandra Sandmark, which is Wonder Girl, and Connor Kent, who was a Superboy, Superman's
Oh.
half son with Lex Luthor. I know
Okay.
trust me, that's a long complication. But I started reading that, and that led me into reading into, not just comics, but also me also love going into design, going into animation, multimedia, and then eventually it led to me starting to collect books originally.
Uh-huh.
And I'll admit, I'll probably hold off a little bit because I did take a break and then I started back up, like later on in my life. But my
Mm.
childhood, I would say was really plenty of love. I ain't gonna say a lot of tough love, but tough love when
Mm-hmm.
it was necessary. Uh,
Oh.
Parents who understood me, parents who loved me, parents who kept me on the right track, and also, they literally was saying like, if we're gonna drag you to the finish line, we're gonna make sure you do right. But
That's
when it came
good.
down to it, my parents, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, I would say they literally not only even cousins who were older than me made sure I
Mm-hmm.
stayed on the right path, and I had cousins who were around the same age who were who knew like, oh, we need you to stay this way because we know the type of person you are, and we know how we were raised. Because I would say we were like a tight, like literally tight as family. And if it wasn't for
That's good.
them, I'll admit I wouldn't be here.
Good for you. Good for you, man. You've been blessed.
Thank you.
Uh, did you had any trouble like adjusting with classmates? I have. As soon as I got to America, I was originally from Japan, but then I went to Korea because my dad being stationed in different places due to his navy. But coming in from Korea, um, it was a challenge for me, being in the United States, and I see how the kids are. They're different from those in the Navy housing in Korea. I mean, we were pretty much a united community. We all knew each other, but then having to go to a different country and then encountering different students, the way they act, I felt out of place, man. Sometimes I'm like in a world of my own, and I'm sure you've sometimes feel like that way too. And when you're in school, right?
I would say early on
Mm-hmm.
when I started high school and college. So I'll
Oh,
admit I was kind of like I ain't gonna say I was the cool kid. I wasn't like I was a person who was like the middle person. Like I got
okay.
along with everybody. I've had my issues with people at times, but but when I see them now. It's like I mean, we were young back then. We weren't thinking
Yeah.
straight. We were young teenagers back then. So I don't hold a grudge towards people unless I have a reason. But also at the
Mm.
same time, you know. I've learned how to adjust quickly at times. Even now,
Uh huh.
while I'm working, the current work I'm doing on the job, I felt kind
Mm-hmm.
of out of place, but I've quickly learned to adjust. I know the skills that I have, but I also know that I'm also social as well. So I'll admit I was kind of the antisocial person at the beginning of my of high school and college at times, but I started to be more social the older I got. So I went from being least likely person to be social to now being the most likely person to say hi to you in the morning.
Yeah. For me, it took a little bit of a while, man. I think in high school, I was only open to those that know me so well. But as far as the rest of uh, the folks in school, all the other classmates, they don't really know me all too well, unless if you're like, you know, friends with me, part of my closest circle. I didn't really have that much friends really back in high school. They consider me like just a stranger that just passes by, barely says a word, and I still get that from some of the people that were my classmates, and now they see this side of me that they've never seen before. They're like, "Wow, this guy's cool. He's so open. He's very different from what he used to be many years ago, which was about 34 years ago. 34 years ago, Dante.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you had any role models when you were a kid that you looked up to?
Actually, my main role models, I would say, was my aunts, my uncles, my mother, and my father, God rest. Because I'll admit, my parents, they did not
Mm-hmm.
take no form of disrespect. They've taught me not only to be respectful, but also to have this great, amazing work ethic that I have now. But also, they also taught me to be humble as well, because don't get a big head about things. Don't take a loss that's very harsh. But when it came down to it, if it wasn't for the two of them, I would the man I am now. I can say he wouldn't exist because without them, without my uncles, ugh, I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
okay,
sorry.
man.
It's just thinking about both my father and recently my uncle and my aunt and my cousin who just because I'll admit this year I had lost my uncle Pookie uh
Mm-hmm.
and around the same time the month of my birthday, which is kind of the harsh one. That one, my other cousin, Monty, and most recently back in I would say early before August. My aunt, my aunt Karen, my auntie Denise on my father's side, and then 4 years ago I lost my. I would say not four. I would say about 4+ years ago I lost my father. So it's like thinking about them and thinking about my uncles and aunts who have passed, and my aunts and uncles who are here now.
Mm-hmm.
They literally raised all of us. And I'll admit, my mother, she did a lot. My parents did a lot. I'll admit, even my mother did a lot, and she didn't have to. Because me thinking about it, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have, you know, um, I wouldn't have my cousins right now who are like brothers and sisters to me,
Mm-hmm.
like Dee Dee who you met.
Oh yeah, Dee Dee. Hi, Dee
Uh,
Dee.
I know I know she probably gonna probably talk to me about this later. Her, Derek, Danielle, and you also know Miguel, because
Yeah.
like my mom literally took in Derek, and my auntie Merlin took in Dee Dee and Danielle, and we were raised all together like when I was a teenager, like when I was
Mm-hmm.
14, because they literally did everything, and they literally topped everything, and so did my parents and my uncles. They could I couldn't do this without them. I couldn't be the man I am now. I'm sorry if I'm being a little emotional right now, because
It's okay.
uh,
What an amazing legacy they've left behind for you,
the
going
legs
the extra mile.
always, and trust me, this work ethic I got, I couldn't have it without.
Yeah. Speaking of work ethic, man, I've observed you when we were at work. I know there's some times you like talk to yourself because I started doing it lately too. Man, talking to yourself is like really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it helps because it makes you like it's like for me. I started thinking about it because some people thought, okay, maybe I'm a little bit off, but
Uh
no,
huh.
but it's like me talking to myself is like me talking to myself, me thinking out loud and saying, okay, this is what I need to do. This is what I need to take care of.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Actually, it led me to my next question. When we worked together at the retail inventory company years ago, you showed an impressive work ethic. How do you stay confident and optimistic over time?
Well, I'll admit I stay confident and optimistic because my confidence comes from the fact of, you know, I usually say this like every time I'm up. If I get up in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll admit, even now, sometimes I usually don't want to be like, oh, I don't want to get up some days, I don't want to work. But that confidence of saying, I can do this, it really comes from the fact of, you know, my mind and my body, I can still do it. I can still get up every day, which means I have plenty of possibilities. I have plenty of possibilities in the morning until the time I close my eyes. But when it comes down to it, if I know for sure, or my confidence and worth ethic, that gets me quickly up in the morning. Like I can literally get up, work, do what I got to do, help everybody out if I can, try to get some work done, or try to get most of the work done if I can. And
Mm-hmm.
even some coworkers right now test like, man, you do too much. You do a little too much. They be like, man, you're doing a little too much more than you should. I mean, they be like, I appreciate you got the numbers, but you do a little too, like you doing a lot. Like you moving more than you should. But but sometimes if I look at it, I look and I ask, if I could sleep at night every day, knowing that I'm tired, but also knowing that I put a great work ethic in,
Mm-hmm.
then I feel good by the time I close my eyes. And next morning, like I'm up, I can do this again. I can keep doing it
That's
and
good.
keep doing it till I got the wheels fall off. But my confidence and my work ethic comes from, like I said, it goes back to the basis that my family built in me. And if it wasn't for them, and also if it wasn't for, the hard work that my father has done and the hard work that my mother has done, the sacrifices they've made, I can if they can do it and my aunts and uncles can do it, My only question is, why can't I? So I usually just be up every morning, get to work, get it done, come home, repeat, wait till the weekend. But I'm not saying I'm rushing to the weekend every week, so I don't get that.
Yeah.
But but I also have a good confidence from not only from my work, but also usually my coworkers. They say like, "Oh, thank you for helping us out with this. You do a lot on your own. You know, thank you for putting our numbers in, and taking a lot of weight that you shouldn't have to." But
Uh-huh.
but when I get that from them, that also adds on to saying, "Oh, I'm doing a great job. Let me just keep up with this."
Nice. Now, are you the kind of person that looks forward to something in the day, and not the things that repeat, but are you also open to different scenarios that's going on in the day? Kind of like it's a good way to challenge yourself, right?
Well, I'll admit with the job I have now, I'll even now, even back then,
Mm.
I'm always adaptable. I've
That's good.
always, if I need to change around some things or if I need to jump into another situation or readjust, I've been used to that. But when it comes out looking forward to things,
Uh huh.
usually it's down to, I would say for me, every month, I would say like it's usually once a month. I usually go to the comic book shop every once a month. I look forward to
Oh.
reading every next chapter that I would look into,
Uh
or
huh.
even during the time where I'm doing the convention, like, oh, I look forward to that. But usually, if it's just a normal week or a normal month, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I'm very adaptable. But usually I'm always good for dealing with the unexpected. So I'll do like a challenge at times. I do like when I'm
Uh huh.
kind of pushing my limits, but not pushing it too
Oh.
far where it's
Uh huh.
too, I would say not too difficult.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to switch on to the next set of questions, and it's all regarding C2E2.
Whew.
So, how many times have you attended this, and what was your first experience like?
Ooh, for you bringing that question, I would
Uh huh.
say I've been 16 years, but I had
Wow.
literally had to dig this up. Let me pull this up,
Uh huh.
and I
Okay.
know my aunt when she sees this, she's gonna be shocked. So I'm putting it on camera if you don't mind. It's nothing inappropriate. So
Okay.
this was the first badge,
Oh
like
wow.
from C2E2. This is the first year, and at that time I was at college, and I'll admit
Nice.
the first three people who went, the first two other people besides myself, is is my brother Derek
Uh
Packard.
huh.
I know he's gonna hear this, and my auntie Marilyn, who's the one who brought this to my attention and who actually started this off. She's the one who started this off for me because it's like my first experience. I was like, wow, I was shocked.
Uh huh.
At that time, it was in a smaller space because it was the first year, and for the first year, it's like, oh wow, it's amazing. I'll admit, I even saw a few costumes. A few costumes. I saw one family group of, I'll admit, for Avatar: The Last Airbender. There
Uh
was a
huh.
whole There was like a whole family dressed as various characters. I'll admit that
Wow.
was I was literally laughing my butt off. But this is something my auntie will also tell you. She laughed at this because she didn't know this. I'll admit, my auntie Marilyn, she was
Uh huh.
shocked when I told her this. But after me and brother told her it was about the you remember? Do you remember a character from Family Guy, the old man with the old dog?
Yeah.
Why was somebody dressed like that in the first year?
Oh yeah.
When I told my auntie that, she was like, "What?" Like, but it was fun. I will admit, it was a beautiful experience for the first year, and it had me hooked ever since because it's a community that I'm used to already, but it's a
Uh huh.
community in a bigger, wider span than I was used to because I didn't have a lot of friends who talk comic books, video games with outside of, maybe few family members and my people and my friends from college. We went to Westwood College together because I'll admit, they were the artists as well, and
Uh-huh.
and I'll admit, they were the best. And one of them was actually a major Batman fan. So he literally, like, he could tell you everything from Batman from the ground up. So, but to have that wider space at C2E2, I
Yeah.
could be around the community. I'm loving being around the community each year, meeting people, cosplaying, and also meeting fellow comic book readers. And also recently, I'll admit, um, I've literally just started into Dungeons and Dragons because of I'll admit, because of another show. I would say Vox Machina, and also currently Mighty Nine.
Okay. All right. How will you compare the C2E2 that you just recently saw and compare that to the very first day? How it how it looked?
Way different and a
Yeah.
way bigger. Like for when we was the first year, it was in a smaller space. Like we was
Where was it held
literally,
at?
like, you could tell from the first. I wish I had found my pictures from the first year. I
Uh
think
huh.
my auntie still has them. I wish I would have called her. But the first year it was a smaller space because it was just starting off. And then
Mm-hmm.
each year as it got bigger, like we was originally went across the bridge up to the corner place. Like, across the bridge where the larger black building, that's how wide
Mm-hmm.
it got. And then it went from there to the actual McCormick place where it's like the whole entire one side is so large. Like, you could literally walk through and have plenty of space for everybody. And even, I'll say, even each day that we go, each year that I went, because I always go on a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this first year that we went, the first year that we went, it was crowded, but it wasn't. It was still like pretty. It was pretty intimate. Even now, it's still intimate, but it's a very large crowd. Like, it's even one of the major. It's even still one of my major conventions to go to each year. Like this would be my top one every time.
Yeah, nice. Um, what initially drew you to cosplaying at conventions like C2E2?
I would
You just said,
say
ah, what the heck, I'm here. Let me be someone.
I would say I would say that was kind of the thought at first, but
Uh huh.
when I thought about it, it's like I spent so many years, without a costume. I've seen these people literally in costume come out their shell, because I know I'll admit, there are people who do this for fun, who do this because it's part of their business, or do it for both. But for me, it was about, having fun with it, trying to step out my shell, trying to do something that I haven't done before. And I'll admit, I was nervous my first year when I first cosplayed, and
Uh huh.
then from that year forward, it had gotten so much easier because the confidence was building. Because my first year, I'll say my first year when I did my first one, it was the first time I actually done it. And at that time, it was also still one of my Halloween costumes from back in the day. But when I did it further, it's like, okay, confidence is there. So, and then I stepped from there to from the following one, and then now I'm taking it from that one to the next one I'm doing. So,
Okay. Now, were you always the Hood, or did you played other characters as well?
I would say before I was the Red Hood,
Uh huh.
I actually cosplayed as Assassin's Creed, because
Oh,
that
okay.
was one of my favorite franchises back in the day. I was playing that, like, faithfully. Like, I
Uh huh.
played every game so far at that time. Like, I was playing the first Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, uh, Revelations, and then the one that really got me started was Assassin's Creed 3, which is take place in colonial America. And then from there, the Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. So when I did my first cosplay, it was not too long
Mm-hmm.
after Assassin's Creed 4 came out. And at the time, I think Assassin's Creed 5 was on its way coming out as well. So when I did it, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, what I did originally, it was actually supposed to be part of a Halloween costume because at that time I actually I had the hood, had the hood over my face. I had a sword, and also I had a Halloween mask as well because I showed it, and I remember this because my auntie Denise at the time she was going through cancer, and I remember that my that my me and my brother had showed up to show her. And like literally, we had the mask on when we got there. And then when we did the Halloween party, sometime after she had passed, I'll admit the day before, the
Mm-hmm.
hours before, when I came in from work, I was looking forward to just grabbing my costume, but I remembered I had ordered the hidden blade. I ordered two of
Oh.
them. You know, I
Uh-huh.
can't just carry one. So at that time, when I came home, I ended up seeing that it got delivered. So I'm like, here, let me go ahead and put them on and see how they feel. And after that time at the Halloween party, I said, you know what? Let me put this on for the convention because I've literally built this character from the bottom up, writing his own origin story, writing where he comes from. And I usually do a thought process because this was something that, being a creative person that I am, I was really writing down notes about what his name would be, what his nickname was, why is he doing this, and what is his main mission. So I'll admit, first was the Assassin's Creed. That was the very first one, and I still have the hood and at least one of the blades still.
Oh, nice. Now, when it comes to like custom design, do you have to go to stores like Joanne to find certain fabrics and then putting them together, or did you had someone doing it, or you did it yourself?
So for the Assassin's Creed one, I'll admit
Mm-hmm.
I had ordered everything from online, like literally
Okay.
a costume shop that had the Assassin's clothing. They had it literally fit to my body where it literally did not hug my chest or my stomach, like it was still loose.
Uh huh.
And then the sword is something I found like in a prop shop, in a Halloween store. The hidden blades I had ordered off of Amazon, but that was the first one. The uh the Red Hood costume that took years of building. That literally from testing,
Uh
testing
huh.
to change up to literally trying to get a feel to understand like, okay, this is what I need to wear instead. So if you've seen from my earlier photos when I was the Red Hood, you see that I have the pair of Nerf guns instead of actual, like fake pistols.
Uh huh.
So when I first did it, I had took I ended up buying a shirt off of Amazon. Found a red hair shirt, like literally with the emblem on it for a good price. Now the mask, that's a funny story because I had to go on Etsy.com to find it. But
Oh, really?
that was that. I actually
Uh huh.
there were actually two masks because the first one that I bought
Uh huh.
was actually from Amazon, but and my mom would laugh at this. When I bought the mask, this is funny. I had a hard time getting it off my head.
Oh,
Like
really?
literally,
Oh my.
I literally squeezed my head into it, and then I had a
Uh
hard
huh.
time getting it off. Like literally, my mom had to literally help me get the helmet off, and I'm like, I can't, like, I had it on. I was like, no, I can't breathe in this because this is just it's too tight on my head. And on
How many
top of that,
minutes did it take for you to get out of that?
the first one, it took me a good second. Like
Oh,
they
okay.
literally had to literally pull hard to get my head out. And I was like, you know what? I had literally returned it, I think the following Sunday, but after it got delivered, I returned it. So I had a friend, suggest why not go to Etsy instead,
Mm-hmm.
because Etsy.com literally they have a lot of cosplay stuff. And usually people are we're kind of skeptical, but I'm like, that's not so bad because I'm like, why not just take a shot at it? So I mean, I'm doing enough as it is. I got the finance to do it. So when I ordered the mask, the guy who did the mask, literally every step of the way was asking me 100 questions. Like he literally asked me like, what's the diameter of your head? Is there anything extra you got to worry about? You know,
Wow.
because he said that the original size of the mask is a little bit smaller, but he said that also, and then he messaged me. He said I can extend it so that way it can fit your skull and it don't pressure your head. So the back piece, here, give me 1 second. Let me see. I'm gonna go
Okay.
grab it real quick. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Yeah, give me about
This is
5 minutes.
gonna be fun. All right.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep the mask in my room because I don't like to, just in case something goes left.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
so, uh, I'm sorry for walking out real quick.
It's okay.
So, so what he did was put on. So when he did the original mask, he literally did some design work, like literally made it look battle damaged, like even scarring
Uh-huh.
in the eye.
All the
But
details, yeah.
yep. But also what he did was the straps on the back here, so that way it
Mm-hmm.
extends on my skeleton. It doesn't pressure my head. So
Oh, okay.
so it makes it easier for me to walk around,
Oh,
breathe, and also easy for me to take it off.
yeah.
But what's even funnier is that when I told him what convention I needed it for, he actually sent me this too. Yeah, the batarang of the red hood symbol. And he
Okay.
also, but the funny thing was, he also said he asked like, "What convention you doing this for?" He like, "I'm going." I told him I'm going to C2E2 this year. At the time, he made a joke, and it's kind of funny. He said, I said, "Good luck wearing the suit. I'll send it to you. I also throw in the batarang for free." But he said also, "Just do me one solid. Get a kiss from John Barrowman." The
Oh,
actor who plays
yeah.
he plays Malcolm Merlin on Arrow,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
he's also done a lot of other projects too. But it's just him being fun. I know, but it's like, but he said he said I do appreciate that you are 100% with me to tell me every detail because that way
Uh-huh.
it's easier for you to wear the mask. So, and I've been wearing the mask ever since for the past, I would say, whew, few years. I would say about maybe 5 or 6 years, give or take.
Uh-huh. All right, I'm
So,
gonna ask you a special request.
sure,
Can you try it on?
sure. I'm gonna take the headphones
Yeah,
off
all
for you.
right.
Hold on.
Here we go.
Surprised it still fits.
Sweet.
See,
Yeah, such
and
an
plus it's easier for
intimidating
me to
presence.
see the eyelids. You will see,
Uh-huh.
and as you see in the back here, the straps, so that way it's not too tight on my head. And then on top of that, easy just easy take off. And then I just carry,
Wow.
and then also hold on strap so I can carry.
Nice.
So,
Now, is that the only mask that you have? You probably have like different variations of it, right? Through the
um,
years.
that's the only one. I would say besides the one I had to send back because of how small it was,
Uh-huh.
that's the only one I've been wearing for years. Because
Oh, okay.
it's also I would say with the costume as well, I've been refining it for years. So like the first year when I wore it, like I said, I had the Nerf guns, but then after I say the first year or two, I started to notice they were feeling a little too tight and too heavy on my legs. Because
Mm-hmm.
because it was a lot more weight than normal. And then on top of that, the jacket I had, it was because it was too cold. I'm like, plus it didn't kind of match the tone as well. And then the shirt that I had, that shirt I originally bought to cover my chest area, I
Hmm.
originally wanted to go with body armor, but I didn't find no body armor that would properly fit. So I just said the shirt would probably work better. And then when I wore that, it was it started to, the logo started to peel off a bit. Not as in like, it's all the way off or anything. It's just like, years of washing, wear and tear.
Hmm.
So I had bought a new shirt with the same label, but also on the back had the Red Hood name on it. And then the jacket part, when I changed the jacket, I went from the jacket that my mother bought me from Colombia, which was
Uh-huh.
very warm, but it was also, I got severely hot in it. So, and plus I had to I wanted to match the comic book a little bit. So I went to king size to buy a brand new leather jacket. And it matches currently with the actual character at the time when the under Red Hood, and also when he first started, when Jason Todd first started as the Red Hood. Like he was
Hmm.
really wearing a black jacket all the way over. And then when I did the guns, I'll admit this is kind of the one I was kind of concerned about because with our society. So one thing I've
Yeah.
always done is that when I leave home, if I do wear that, I don't wear the guns till I don't put them on until I get to the convention and when I'm getting ready to get there. Because I usually get there early, like maybe like half an hour to an hour early, just so that way I can strap on the the guns and the guns and the holsters. So so it was like this was years of refining, and not just physically, but also psychologically. Because when it comes down to when I did the Assassin's Creed one, which was something original written off, I
Hmm.
know this is a character that everybody had seen before. So I literally, I usually have a process where I try to do like a psychological profile. It's kind of
Uh-huh.
funny because I try to learn how, I usually try to read the books. I read the books already because I'm already a fan of the character, but I also try to learn more about, why is he doing this? What would be what if a situation came around to this situation, what would he do? Will he go with option one or option two, or why would he take this option? I always try to go through that when I do a different character now. So this is the first character where I actually try to go like do like full research into the person before I decide to put on before I even throw on the costume.
That's cool that you're trying to get integrity, for the character that you're, cosplaying,
Yep,
being in that certain situation, how he would feel in that moment.
exactly. I mean, I know every time he sees the Joker, it's like, what the heck? And it's like
Hmm.
he wants to say, hey, I'll pull the trigger, but he knows at times he's like, I can't do this because
Yeah.
Batman might end up knocking my teeth out for it.
All right. Let me see what I have here. Now, do you have a memorable moment or story from cosplaying at C2E2, such as a fun interaction, photo, or a surprise encounter?
I would say I've had a few. I would say from one of the years, I actually took a photo with, I think I sent this one to you. It's a photo
Okay.
of myself as the Red Hood, another actor, another cosplayer as Batman, and another one as the Flash. Because it's like, okay, these are characters I've read, these are characters I like, to take a photo with these guys, and these guys are very, very humble and very nice. That's the best thing about being at the convention too. Most 95% of the people, I would say even 99% of the people are very nice. And you just say, oh, from cosplay, oh, you want to just take a photo? Okay, cool. But also be humble about it and also respectful. So it's not, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, it's very nice to have that type of community as well. And I'll admit, with that led me into, I would say, 2 years ago.
Hmm.
Um, Outside the convention, I went to I forgot which bar it was. It was because it was me and my girlfriend had went because she was curious herself. Me and her went to because it was it was, I didn't say it was a flash mob, it was like a pop up. So it was like, oh, bunch of Batman characters, we take photos together.
Uh-huh.
Like I had one photo shoot where the guy literally, like I literally had my hands around my mask without
Uh-huh.
my helmet off, and I did have sort of like my beard sort of grown out a bit. Like he literally had a whole, like he did like multiple photographs of it. I wish I would have saved it, but I knew I had forgot to save when I had because I had been so busy at the time.
Hmm.
But that one, and sometimes I use in for the convention as well. There is like two things. There's a few things that I've done. I usually sometimes do things I usually try to 9 times out of 10 think about other people outside when I'm at the convention. I know it's usually my day to go ahead and, be free, do whatever I want. But sometimes I usually put to the side if I see something like for instance, there's one year I went to the convention. I think this was not too long after Prince had passed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I bought my mother two things, and I know my mom was a major Chris friend. She was literally heartbroken about him passing. So around the time we did at the convention, I went and saw a picture of, of like it's a miniature character version of Prince and two doves literally crying,
Oh.
which is a
Oh wow.
representation of when doves cry
Uh-huh.
from one of his songs. So I was like, I literally had literally, and that was the last photo at the time. So of it that the guy had. So I'm like, here, how much do you need? I didn't even ask the price. I said, hey, this is how much. I don't care how much it is. I'll get it. I know my mom would love it because I know she's a major Prince fan and she literally, like, she still has a. I'll admit she still has a photograph somewhere. I think she has it displayed in her office somewhere, and she loves it.
That's nice.
And then I would say for the past 2 years, my girlfriend who is a major wrestling fan,
Mm-hmm.
I literally had to go out of my way to do both things. So last year, this is around Sting's retirement tour.
Mm-hmm.
So he was at the convention. So I literally decided to get my girlfriend not only an autograph, but also I think a photo. I think I got her an autograph and also a photo with Sting.
Uh-huh.
And then also as well, the following year, which is this year that passed, she ended up getting a photo op and a autograph from Rikishi. So
Oh
I
wow.
usually try to think outside of the box when it comes to certain people.
Mm-hmm.
If I know something that my mom will love, even my older cousin Prince, I had got his son a figure of Superman. So yeah, I know that his girl had loved it because it's like, oh, this is something that he would love when he gets older. So I'm like, here, this is
Uh-huh.
just for, sometimes 9 times out of 10, I would say I do shop for me, but I do like when I do at times when I think about outside of myself when I go to conventions.
Oh, that's awesome of you. You have a
I
good
try.
heart there, Dante.
I try to.
All right. Lastly, regarding C2E2, what do you enjoy most about C2E2, whether it's the show floor, panels, meetups, or something else?
I would say all the above because for me, I love the meetups where we take photographs together at times, or even
Mm-hmm.
just random photographs, with other cosplayers. The show floor I usually love because they usually have a good deal, or usually these people are not only working hard, but also they have a kind heart at times. They're not trying to really hustle you all the time. They literally like, hey, you're looking for this. I even had people I'll say even the past few years, the first usually people I go to, First Aid Comics, when they have
Uh-huh.
a booth up, they literally come to help. Like they literally come to help me look for certain books I'm looking for in my collection to add into. So they literally don't even say, hey, this is how much it is. We're not going to ask anything further because, if you got a good deal or something, or if you're looking just for a certain thing, 9 times out of 10, they're very helpful. And then for the panels, I always go to a panel at least once or twice because
Mm-hmm.
usually some of the panels I go to are mainly Marvel or DC, depending. So like, I would say one of the major panels that I did go to that I liked was was mainly from Marvel because Marvel usually they have a preview of what's coming up from what I'm already reading. So like I started reading at the time before COVID, I was reading Venom, and then at the convention they usually show like the first cover issues of who's gonna pop up and usually what might be the problem or what might be what's coming for the character or what's the story or thing might be trying to tell.
Okay. Now I'm gonna just throw off a question here, which is not part of this list.
Oh no.
Now, if you were given 3D printing technology, would you try to enhance your costume?
I would say yes. Because I would say for 3D, I would say because I've seen a few 3D printed items.
Uh huh.
Because usually the other convention I go to, Anime Midwest, and usually every now and then Call of Delete, they usually have some 3D printed items that be so accurate and so beautiful. I'd be looking like, I'm surprised that's not part of my costume now. I'm surprised I haven't picked that up and said, hey, let me add it. You know,
Uh huh.
3D printing, I would say that's something I've thought about getting into, but I know that I need to take some actual genuine time because I know that if I am going to start doing that, then I'm going to start printing not only the mask that I have now to fit me, but also probably doing other cosplays later on. Like I'll admit, there's one cosplay I saw that he saw it online on TikTok. The guy 3D printed every piece of it.
Uh
The
huh.
Doomslayer from the Doom franchise. He literally 3D printed every part of his costume and painted it to fit accurately to the character. He literally like he showed up to school. He showed up to college on his Halloween day to show up with the whole Doomslayer armor plus a 3D printed chainsaw. I'm like, you serious?
Mm.
I was laughing. I'm like, you serious right now?
Oh
But
man.
yeah, 3D printing I would get into. So
Uh
eventually.
huh. Yeah, I think you'll get there soon, especially when if when it gets affordable at some point.
Yeah, that's the other part. But I try to think about it later on when I know that I have the time and the means to be able to get into it.
Yeah, I actually saw um, my friend. He who is now my technically my brother-in-law. He was introducing me to a 3D printer, and he was doing a couple of objects, and they took about maybe 2 or 3 hours just to see it like in process. It's so cool, man. It really is.
I know. I saw a few of them, and I was like, because I think I saw one person he did 3D print. I was like, man, I'm like, you literally got every detail correct. Like
Yeah.
like the character I saw, he didn't 3D print a character. He 3D printed one of my favorite characters' sword. His not Sparta. It's the devil sword from Devil May Cry 5 from
Mm.
Dante's Devil May Cry sword from number 5 after. And this spoiler, if nobody had played Devil May Cry 5 yet, I apologize. It's a funny scenario how he gets it. So in the middle of the story, he still has his father's sword Sparta, and then he goes to the mansion where his father's place is at, and he still has his old broken sword Rebellion. So he starts putting two and two together, where he figures that if his brother's sword Yamato can separate man from devil, separate a half devil in between, separate the half devil into human and a devil. He wonders what his broken sword can do. So funny part is, he literally takes the broken part of rebellion and stabs himself with it. Like literally
Oh.
the what was it? V's birds like, what the heck? Are you out your freaking mind, bro? Stop doing that. He said, listen, you need to take care of this devil. You need to take care of this monster right now. You kill yourself later. I'll help. He's like, so he literally not only pressures it, he literally shifts it, and not only does it disappear, it also absorbs not only itself, but also it also absorbs the Sparta, his father sword Sparta into himself as well. It turns him into, it gives him a severe power upgrade. Not only
Oh
that,
wow.
it also helps him create his own new sword, the double sword. Well, better known as double sword Dante. Basically, literally like a big freaking version of rebellion that's literally monstrous. I was like, man, how did you, like the guy paired that and literally put it together? I was literally shocked. I was like, man, you got every detail from the broken part, even where the parts where the demonic looks at,
Hmm.
where it gets it shorts the blade, even the handle is 100% accurate. I'm like, yeah, now I can see why people get into 3D printing because that really, so that way it makes it easier to create the object I'm looking for.
Nice. All right, we're switching gears now to comic books, man. How did you begin how did you begin collecting comic books? Can't even read.
All right, so I'll admit I started off slow because
Hmm.
at the time when I said when I first started reading, when my mom needed me to read something, I started reading the Teen Titans Volume 7, the Volume 6 or 7. And then
Uh-huh.
from there, I had been reading comic books while I was in high school at the time. But I didn't start reading collecting until I started going to the convention. So originally I didn't see too much at first, the first year or so, but then when I started going for the years, I started getting interested in, certain books. And then when I started working at my first major job, I literally I wanted to get into reading comics as a hobby. So I started reading, you know, that I started reading Superman, Batman. I started reading into like the major crossover storylines. Like at the
Uh-huh.
time, I started reading I think it's the prequel to Forever Evil, if I'm correct. So at that time, talking about the Trinity of Sin, Pandora, the Phantom Stranger, who we later find out is basically Judas in the new continuity. Is basically Judas in the 13 pieces of silver that he betrayed Jesus with is around his neck, and he has to betray 13 people in order to be absolved. And then also the question. So at that time when we was reading it, I started getting into the Trinity of Sin, and then also the later storylines of the crossovers, even the Forever Evil at the time, which kind of changed things around because it went from the Justice League. Now it went to most of the villains having to clean up the problem of the crime syndicate from Earth 3. So like Lex Luthor, Black Adam, who
Hmm.
else? The Rogues, including Captain Cold. I'll admit, Captain Cold, I literally was like, what he did to Johnny Quick, I literally said, I'm done. Cause he literally just, cause all he did, cause Johnny Quick thought he was smart, took, literally pushed Captain Cold to a wall and had the
Uh-huh.
cold gun in his hand, but he had the barrel down to his leg.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Captain Cold had a little extra put in his gun. He had used a voice command and just said fire.
Oh.
The gun literally
Wow.
shot Johnny Quick's leg, froze it, and just
Uh-huh.
Captain Cold just literally just kicked him in his leg and shattered it.
Oh.
I was like, dang, that's cold. But I do like when the storylines do get a little crazier because it went from there to after that. I started reading at first when I was working at one of my old jobs, but then I had stopped. But then I started slowly get into it a little bit further, a little bit more, a little bit more. And I started getting into like smaller storylines or like with major moments like not Future State, but Future's End, I think, if I'm correct. The
Hmm.
Future's End storylines where, like what might happen in the future for these DC characters. And also some of the Marvel stuff too. I started like reading the what ifs. But then I'll admit when COVID hit, I needed something other than something outside of my usual work I was doing because I was literally working from home every day.
Uh-huh.
Um, I went from also working from home every day to jumping back and forth from home and office. So I was like, you know what? I need a hobby. So I'm like, I've already started reading some books. So I started picking up a few books at first. I started picking up a few. I started reading. I would say when the COVID hit, I read a few storylines that kind of hooked me. I started reading Venom, and then I started
Uh-huh.
reading the Red Hood books at the time when Red Hood had Bizarro and Artemis. So I started reading those before I started collecting them back again. Then I'll admit my Uncle Brandon and my Auntie Dee, out of shockness, out of severe shock, I did not expect them. They literally came over one day and literally talked to a friend of theirs because a friend of theirs was literally going to drop was literally had a he still has a major collection. Like I thought mine was big at first. I thought
Uh-huh.
I'll admit I was a really small time when I started with this. The guy literally had his collection was so big that he was literally giving certain things away or selling them. And I'll admit I did not expect him to, but he had a lot of X-Men books. He had a lot of other books from early 90s, 80s, and he told my Uncle Brandon here, I know somebody, you might know somebody who might appreciate him, and my name came up. So, and when I got the books, I already knew I read most of the storylines, but I also sealed them. Like I literally severely sealed them to the point where they cannot be, I'll try to make sure they're not scratched.
Wow.
But when I say where I got severely back into it was when I
Mm-hmm.
started working from home for COVID. I started, certain days where I go into the office, I started reading, like at first, some of the storyline the one major storyline I say I started reading back up with, that got me back into comics, was Ten of Swords, which is an X-Men story. Actually, let me take that back. Not an X-Men story, a Krakoan story. So basically, at the time, the X-Men so basically at the time, we come to find out that was Moira McTaggart, who was a normal human. We come to find out she's a mutant, but her power is she can reincarnate. And every time she dies and goes back to starts back over. She keeps the memories from her past lives. So
Oh.
when in her last life, she decides to show all of her lives to Xavier, and then they also by extension show it to Magneto. And eventually, leading up to the current timeline, we come to find out that her lives are basically the storyline, just absolute possible realities and storylines that have happened in her lifetime, but that have happened in alternate timelines. But the Ten of Swords storyline, it built up to this is like when after the mutant community decides to unite into one front. Like they have the island Krakoa as their island. Then we have not just the X-Men, the Brotherhood, Apocalypse, the Hellfire Club, Emma Frost. If you're a mutant, you're a part of us. Like the whole community, and also they were literally, literally making money hand off a fist from curing diseases. Like literally, they had a cure to multiple diseases, and they also had the ability to reincarnate. Uh, just you ever seen the Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
Dang,
Oh yeah.
it's
Yeah, I've
sort of
seen
like
that one.
it's sort of like that.
Oh,
It's sort of
okay.
like that, but it's a little crazier. But I'll admit one thing they did was, and this is something I'm kind of glad that they did. Storm being officially made an Omega class mutant, being classified as Omega class, something that had been missing for years. I'm sorry, I'm talking off of the story. So
Oh,
the
it's
ten,
okay, man.
oh no, but the
How
tennis
how
sword,
long how long has it been until she became part of the Omega?
where she was classified as Omega,
Yeah,
years,
long time. Oh, okay.
years, like literally, like I would say it's been, I say she just made a Omega class. I say about 5, maybe 6 years ago, give or take, if
Mm-hmm.
I. So I knew it's not too long before I started reading Ten of Swords that she was made in Omega class. So the Ten of Swords storyline, I started reading that because this is like it's like Gladiator, 10 representatives of Krakoa versus 10 representatives on Arakoa on Oroka, which is another island on Mars. Like they had to have 10 representatives, and all of them had to have a sword. So like Magic has her blade. Young Cable had his sword, but uh, Wolverine had to get the Masamune blade back, literally after he had hit it. And Storm, and this is one that kind of upset me because I feel like I feel like what she did was dirty, but I felt like as
Mm-hmm.
if as much as she did dirty, she didn't have a choice. At the time, she needed a sword in order to join the contest. So we come to find out she ended up getting Stormbreaker, the sword,
Mm.
the sword that actually the Wakanda's first weapon and the first sword made in Wakanda.
Oh.
Unfortunately, she had lost her right during the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline when Black Panther annulled his own marriage to Storm.
Mm.
So, her needing a sword, she decided to. She had asked, she had asked Ramonda and Shuri, like, "Hey, can I get the sword? I'll bring it back. After the tournament's over, I'll make sure it comes back to you because I know it's Wakanda's first weapon, but only a female can wield it."
Uh-huh.
So, unfortunately, she decided not to be patient. Literally went through security, fought through Ramunda and Shuri and the Dora Milaje just to get the sword, and guess who finds her when she tries to grab it?
Ooh.
Her ex-husband.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. T'Challa saw it like, are you serious right now? The only thing that if she would have been more patient, and this is what kind of upset me, if she would have not, he would have unannulled the marriage. So she would have easy rights to it. But it also kind of closed off Wakanda's borders from Krakoa in a sense, where it's like only a representative from Krakoa could come through, no other mutants. So even now, it's still kind of awkward between them because they love each other, even though they're
Uh-huh.
not on the same team. I'll admit, Storm took Thor's place in the Avengers, but it's kind of awkward because it's like they'll kind of still love each other, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to work alongside your ex-wife. I mean, to me
Yeah.
it is. But hey, I mean, stuff happens. But I mean, they still keep it professional and they still, come through if they need each other. So, fair enough.
Cool. All right. So, moving on here, my friend, what is your ultimate comic, the one you dream of owning or the one you're most proud to have?
I would say the one I'm most proud to have, I would say the one I'm most proud to have. I actually have a few that I'm most proud to have. I had just pulled them. I had pulled one out. I pulled two out so far. Um, this one because I was a Spider-Man fan, but I was also at the
Mm-hmm.
time was I'm a hip hop fan as well. So I have this one, which is one of my proudest ones because it
Uh-huh.
was because that's based off of Nas's Illmatic. And
Yeah, I
this
was
one's
about to
kind
say.
and this
Yeah,
one
it does.
this one gonna make you laugh. But you could take a guess. You could take
Oh
Eric,
my goodness.
Eric B. and
Eric B. and
Rakim.
Rakim?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
let's see. And this one here, because they just entered the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Outcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Equimini album. I was trying to find the other one, but I had no time to look for it. But I'll say one of the other ones I'm most proud of also to have is Static number one, like the original Static from the 90s.
Yeah.
I
I
I sent
remember
you
that one.
I think I sent you a photo of it because I wanted to show it off because because the one I really want to have is the following issue two.
Mm.
I know everybody says like want to have a Superman or a green or like a Batman book, but I'm like for those I'm so used to reading Batman and Superman story that you know even the Golden Age one I'll admit it's out my reach, but it's not. But even though it's a wishful list, it's not one of those where it's like where it kind of doesn't connect to me too deeply compared to Static because Static to me is one that connects because I like the character. I'm also a full on nerd in a sense, full on nerd. I'm African American. I'm a nerd. Uh, but I do like how the story is kind of he goes from being pressured to having to he goes from being bullied to almost making a mistake that would have cost him his life to going through an incident to that literally gained him powers. It then literally decided to be the fault line for both police brutality and also by extension the misuse of enhanced abilities. So the first issue that I have, it doesn't go into his origins. It goes
Mm-hmm.
into this is like sometime after the origins. So he literally at the time he's already gotten powers. He's raised himself a little bit, but at the time at the end, but during the issue he faces his bully, Biz Money 8. But this character later on becomes Hot Streak. They like literally Static recognizes him, but Hot Streak doesn't recognize him, even though Hot Streak beats him. Issue two, which is when he's recovering with his girlfriend, is when you go into the origin story and find out where he
Mm-hmm.
got his powers, what happened to him, what led him into that direction, why is he involved. But I also like how Static does go into further stories about, police brutality, racism, sexism. Uh, also goes into her strong conversations that you usually don't see in normal DC books. These are milestone books at the time. This is milestone
I
comics.
remember that. Uh,
Like,
Um, I think my brother might have Static. I might have to go back, to the old place and see what he has because I remember my older brother, God rest his soul, he was one of those that was, buying those at the time. I think it was like he may have got Static. I remember hearing Static before, so that's how I kind of like got to know a little bit about it. I wasn't really like into comic books that time, but my older brother was, and he started just like started buying all these things, and they're coming from Milestone, and I'm like, and then there's another one that he got with Static. I forgot what the other one was, the other superhero, but
um,
he was really getting into it too.
yeah, because when I started reading Static, I read the
Hmm.
original storyline, but then when they brought it back recently, I started reading the new Static because the new Static really is connected to the modern day generation of
Mm.
what's going on. Like how his origins is sort of different, but it does tell the same story of police brutality, and also how certain murder methods can be done wrong. So for a Static number, so like the original origin had him going to a gang fight.
Hmm.
This time around, he knows his bully, but this time around, it's not a gang fight that he's going to. It's actually a Black Lives Matter movement.
Oh
So
wow, they just updated it.
yeah, what's also they updated is that Static's mother is alive during this time. So Static's mother is in the picture. He's
Oh.
living in a two-parent home. He got his
Uh huh.
sister, but the situation happens with him is that Static literally is at a Black Lives Matter movement with some friends to have a peaceful protest.
Hmm.
Marching around. Normally, what happened? Unfortunately, Hot Streak, before he gets his powers, brings in another group of people who want to do the opposite of being peaceful, and in doing so, causes the police brutality, causes fights, and it causes the police officers and also the police officers to actually use a new aesthetic gas that's supposed to be further knock them out, but also if they don't get knocked out, it's supposed to track them just like the original.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, just like the original, all these people who had smelled or was in the gas end up developing powers. So Static does gain his powers around that time, but so does Hot Streak. So because of that, Hot Streak starts to figure out that he's Static. He goes so far, and I think in one of the issues, Hot Streak tries to prove a message to Static saying, "Don't get in his way." He literally goes to his house and burns out the house
Oh
while his
my.
while him and his family's watching. And literally comes out and says, "You get in my way. your family's next. I'll burn.
Wow.
But I do like how they also introduced the season one. They introduced Hot Streak, but also they introduced at the end Ebon, another antagonist for Static. But unlike the original where Ebon, or even the TV show where Ebon is like a gangster, this is a person who's just trying to find his brother, Rubber Band Man. And that's when season two comes around. That's why I started reading that. I'm like, oh wow, because Static is just starting to get into his superhero status. His family supports him, but he's also knowing that he has to fit a fine line between letting the police get letting the police get involved and knowing that he has to interfere himself because sometimes not everybody has the right mindset about
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing, or even the right mindset of what should be the right action.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Okay, where do you usually look for comics? Local stores, online, conventions, or elsewhere?
So I have multiple sources, I'll admit,
Uh
but
huh.
my main source recently, I would say I go to Graham Cracker Comics in downtown Chicago. So with
Okay.
them, I've been with them for I've actually been around that shop for years. My Demerlin brought me to it. She's the first. She really brought it to my attention. Literally, I've been there for years, but I would say for the past 5 or 6 years, when I started back up to reading comics again, when I started reading comics again, and I needed to find issues, I've literally had a shop. Literally, the employees at the shop, they literally convinced me, and I appreciate that they did. They convinced me to why not just get a subscription box. So with them, I literally pick my titles that I'm looking for, or if I'm looking for just a certain book, if I'm looking for a certain book, they'll look for it. But if I start pre-ordering books ahead of time, they'll pull the issues for me. So that way, in exchange, not only would I pay for it, I'll get 10% off from them.
Oh, cool.
But for them, it's like for them, I've been with consistently for like 5+ years with them. Like literally,
Dedicated customer.
they literally know my name every time I come in. Even
Oh
like
yeah.
if I'm gone for 2 months, they're like, "Hey, Dante, what's up?" They're like, hey, you guys got those issues? Like, hey, yeah. We also make sure we have these to the side for you. And sometimes they usually pick up stuff ahead of time that I usually say see later. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh wow, I'll really get into this here. Do you mind adding this? Or if I need to take something off, I'm like, hey, we'll take this off for you because we know it's not part of your list, or you're not reading this any further. So very helpful company. But also, I would say I usually go to other graham cracker shops outside of Chicago or outside of just downtown Chicago. I go to there's one up north I go to, and there's another one that I went to Lakeview. I go to them as well. And I also go to other comic book shops if I'm around somewhere, if I'm just out and about. Sometimes I usually look around at the comic book section. But if I'm in the area that's a comic book shop, 9 times out of 10 I go inside, take a look. Or if they have a comic book selection, I go in and look. Like I would say recently this year, while my girlfriend had a competition during the summer, I went into the mall and went to their comic shop and literally got a card from them. It was like, hey, you know, call us if you're looking for this. And they have a large comic book selection, and also at the time, a Dungeons and Dragons section, and also trading card game section. I was really impressed with. So, but outside of that, if there's something I'm looking for at the convention, I usually 9 times out of 10 look during the convention. So that Saturday, I try to do a walkthrough, see what's available, see who got stuff available, who's got a good spot. Usually, if I go take a look, they literally have no problem helping me. But also during that time, I try not to, miss bump anybody or not wasting anyone's time when I try to go through the books. Because if they doing this for me, I can't just be like, oh, nah, I don't want it. That's kind of like wasting somebody's time. And I trust me, I've been through that type of situation where somebody wasting my time. I'd be thinking like really? Like, so you mean to tell me you had me do this and now you just waste my time? No.
Wow.
I don't do that because I respect people's time when I'm at the convention because these people could be doing other stuff or just looking for somebody who got money or looking just for somebody who's gonna pay a dime. I'm not gonna waste their time, and they're not gonna waste mine. If I'm looking for something, they're like, here, we got it here, or hey, you look in this section, or hey, I'll help you look. So this is why I also love being at the convention each year because they literally go hard when it comes to work, when it comes to collecting. Yeah, I've seen people literally go hard to collecting so hard. I'll be thinking like, yeah, I can't do too hard. I only get this is why I'm like this is only I got a list because I try to stick with what I have. So
Oh man, let me see what comics I remember having because I don't even have them with me physically, but I do remember, man, the first time that I think the costume that Spider-Man had, the black costume. I know that came from like Secret Wars, the origins
ooh,
of it, and I remember looking at that one cover. I think it was Web of Spider-Man. That was like back in the days in the '80s, and just looking at
yep,
that art on that issue where the costume is introduced. I'm like, man, that is mind blowing.
yeah. And I was shocked by that one because I'll admit I that actually I'll admit I love that issue because that led into later on Venom coming into the picture.
Yep.
And the reason I'll admit I love Venom as a character because when it comes to him and Red Hood as characters, they're their opposites without the gloves. So like Spider-Man would kind of take it easy, not push too hard, not try to crack a man's jaw. Venom's like, no, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna crack it. I'm not just gonna crack your jaw. I'm just eat your brains. And sometimes when you make that threat, everybody say like, oh, he lying, he gonna do. I'm like, no, he has no problem eating your brain because the chemical in your brain is what they need to thrive. That the only chemical that they only found the chemicals only found in two things: the human brain, which is why they can make that legitimate threat, and chocolate,
Uh-huh.
which is why some stores might run out of chocolate if the symbiote runs in the door. So, but I do like how Venom kind of breaks the line, and you'd be looking like,
Yeah.
why does he like really? But I'm like, sometimes you kind of like a character who kind of says like, I'm not gonna give this guy a second chance because he knows what he's capable of. Because that's what it comes down to him, Punisher, and Red Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically these guys go without the gloves, don't hold back, and don't care about the consequences sometimes. With Venom, I would say Venom and Red Hood are recent ones who care about the consequences, but I would say Punisher, I'll admit some of the stuff he does, I'll be laughing. I'm thinking like I'm trying to think what show was it that I was watching. I was watching this on YouTube. Uh, you ever seen the show To Catch a Predator?
I heard of it. I haven't seen an
Trust
episode.
me, it's mainly about the police trapping pedophiles and
Oh.
pedophiles and serial rapists. It's funny, but it's funny because some of the people think they be thinking they try to talk to a teenage kid when they find out they about to get handcuffed after Chris Hansen talks to them. Punisher funnier has a funnier version, a messed up version. He literally pretends to be a kid talking online to a guy who has evil plans, who has some special plans for this young kid. So when the guy shows up with the flowers that Punisher was saying that the kid likes,
Mm-hmm.
he turned the guy's looking for him like, oh, so where's this kid? So literally Punisher right behind him with the van open, gun drawn already. It's oh, hello. Dandelions are my favorite. He just looked at him like he just literally edged on him like get in the van. I'm like, yeah, I can already take guess what's gonna happen to him. Him and there was a couple in one issue that was so that was that pushed the line so hard that even I was like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I'm like, well, bro. I can't. I'm like, you can't. I said, no offense. No offense. I agree. No, I agree with Frank on this. They need to go. And to your own biological kids, oh no, yeah, no question, they need to go. I didn't feel no remorse for the parents. I feel bad for the kids because the kids gonna have to go through child services now
Yeah.
after going through that trauma.
Let me see one other comic that I have. Spawn number one.
Ooh, now I'll admit, now that's one I wanted to put in my collection, but it's
Yeah.
just me trying to find it has been difficult, especially now that they still finna work on this movie. They're still working on a movie right now, and it's kind of difficult to
Yeah.
find the Spawn number one, especially one that's intact because the ones that's intact are very high priced, and even ones that are CGC recorded, those are that goes in like maybe hundreds to 1,000 depending on the issue. And plus it's the same artist who had drew Venom, who drew the original
Yeah.
Venom. So that's what it's like. Oh crap! So finding that Spawn number one is very. I'll admit that's been one I've been wanting to add because I do collect. I'll admit I do collect superhero comics, but
Yeah.
I'm really deep into my black superheroes in a sense. Like there's one issue I finished reading years ago. I found it in the back while I was going through getting photos for you.
Okay.
So other history of DC Universe.
Oh.
So what I like is that it was written by John Ridley. John Ridley
Uh
had
huh.
read a few other things. He's also connected to 12 Years a Slave.
Oh,
The
okay.
story, but he writes about non-white superheroes. So like the first issue was Black Lightning early on in his
Mm-hmm.
career,
Oh
and
yeah, Black Lightning.
then you got Guardian Bumblebee in issue two. Then issue three, if I'm correct, yeah, let me see. Issue three was Katana from Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
And then issue four was about Renee Montoya, the second person who becomes the Question. The actor basically wrote the character that Rosie Perez played in Birds of Prey, Renee Montoya.
Oh, okay.
And then issue five focused on Thunder, uh, Black Lightning's daughter. Like it goes into their stories and it goes into the history of non-white superheroes. But what I did
Mm-hmm.
like is that it did bring up one controversy in one of the issues that I'm glad that now DC's kind of took a back stage on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, have you ever read the Judas Contract, Teen Titans, or seen the film?
No.
Man, so this is one that kind of got to me because Deathstroke I would say is one of my favorite villains, but this is one thing that I kind of really despise what he did. So in the story, after he lost his son to the Teen Titans due to him misusing the same serum that was created for him by Hive, he decided to take up Hive's contract as a revenge as revenge for them getting his son killed. So one thing he decides to do is to, instead of trying to take them out from outside, take them out from within. So he
Mm-hmm.
sends in Geoforce's sister, Terra, to
Uh-huh.
uh to literally dismantle them from the inside. One of the things that's from the book that they brought back up in other history of DC Universe, is the fact of Deathstroke having a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old. Terra, his undercover. I was like, what the heck? But I remember the story, but it's just still one of those. It's like it really had me look at Deathstroke's history. Like, bro, you've done some really messed up stuff. That's still one of the top five to me because you literally manipulated a child, you manipulated a teenager into
Mm-hmm.
destroying them from within. But at the time, this is around the time when the Teen Titans are starting to try to are starting to get their group together in a sense because at the time they were so open and trusting compared to back in the day.
Uh-huh.
So at the time they was also dealing with Trigon as well later on. But to find out that one of their own was not only working for was working for Deathstroke, but also she ended up just like the comic. She ended up dying. She ended up being killed because of her because of the fact she finds out that Slade isn't gonna keep her word about what she does, about what he's gonna do. 'Cause, like he wants his revenge, even if it causes his relationship, or even like he even manipulating Tara was just part of the game. So that's what really just like a 15-year-old. I'm like, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
Slade, you've done some messed up stuff. Even now, I have to rethink about that because of I would say because recently about about Diddy or Kelly and all these other
Yeah.
people with high power who have manipulated younger younger kids or younger generations of people. And it's like, wow. Like, I literally had to look back at that. I'm like, I can't, like, no. Like, I love Deathstroke as a character, but this is one thing I'm hoping that they never ever put into live action because there are certain things I can live with, but that's really crossing a severe line. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man, my bad.
It's okay. I'm just imagining. Um, well, I'm just trying to think like how did they get these stories approved, man? Did they like talk in a group discussion, saying, "Oh yeah, let's
I
let's make
mean,
Deathstroke do this"?
yeah, but I mean, back in the day, this is early on this is early on in DC's history. Nowadays, you
Okay.
can't get away with a storyline like that.
Yeah.
Like even there's one book I was looking at. I was looking at controversial books and stories from a couple years back. They had like a few lists on Watch Mojo. One thing that they talked about was one book. It's called United States of Hysteria.
Mm-hmm.
The second issue cover literally crosses a line so harsh they had to change it.
Oh yeah. What did it feature?
It featured an African American being lynched
Ooh.
outside of a bar.
Mm.
Well, we talking about not even showing the whole thing from top to bottom. I was looking like Jesus Christ. I was looking like I can't do this. I'm like I've read some crazy stories, I've seen some crazy stories, and I get where he's coming from with it, but no. Even the storyline from the first issue led to so many problems because it dealt with them beating somebody who was transgender. I was like, Jesus. I'm like, I've heard some crazy stuff, but this is y'all just. I'm like, y'all literally know how to top of. Y'all know how to top of things left and right. Like y'all literally just one thing y'all could hit one line, y'all hit every line. Then y'all hit them lines even further.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next question here. How do you organize and store your collection?
Well, I usually organize by the usually the date I receive them, and I
Okay.
usually try to make sure that the first thing I do. I'll admit, this is kind of me being sort of OCD. Before
Mm-hmm.
I even start touching the books, when I get home, I usually I usually take them out of my bag because they are still in the plastic bag they still in because I don't like the because I don't like them to get damaged. But I also before I even start reading them, I literally severely deeply clean my hands
Oh wow. Yeah.
because I've been through a day. I've been through a day. I've been through a lot. I try to
Mm-hmm.
severely deeply wash my hands. And then once I'm done, take them out. I start reading the storylines I want to start with. Usually start off with like recently I started reading the absolute stuff from the absolute universe. So absolute Batman, absolute Superman, absolute Flash, absolute Martian Manhunter, which I just finished, which I know is going to come back next year, and absolute Wonder Woman. So I usually read those first, and then I usually read the major story, like the crossover storylines, like currently DCKO. And I just finished reading One Rule Under Doom from Marvel. So, and how that ended, I was like, wow. But I also know how it ended. I'm waiting to see what's going to be the blowback from that because One Rule from Doom was already a blowback from Blood Hunt. So I read those, and I usually read some of my favorite characters as well, like Psylocke. I was reading that first, which I completed. Magic, both X-Men characters. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
currently I'm reading the currently I'm trying to finish the X-Men, the X-Men not Age of Apocalypse. It's the era of it's takes place after issue 23 from the current line because the current X-Men books kind of took a break for temporarily to tell like what if stories or possible futures for the X-Men characters. And also by extension
Hmm.
some of their line some of the other characters. So like they have Amazing X-Men, X Avengers. Like seeing Hawkeye with 6 arms shoot multiple bows is funny. The Last Wolverine, and also Laura Kinney Sabretooth among the other ones I'm reading from that storyline because those deal with what if trying to think uh Cypher what if Cypher literally goes through one of his plans to have mutant rule over the world in a sense. So Cypher was an X-Men character at first. Like he was like him and Warlock. Warlock was like this alien genetic tech techno creature that literally combined with him, like literally had very much intelligence, read multiple languages. But the Era of Apocalypse book that a friend of mine had started reading, I think I got the first issue, but I need to collect the other ones. Um, it led with the situation of it took place after the Krakoan age. So with
Uh-huh.
that, the X the basically the X basically because Apocalypse had decided to stay on Mars with his wife and his kids. His wife and his kids are the basis for the Four Horsemen. He decided to, in exchange for the prisoners for the people to be free on Mars, he decided to exchange himself and spend time with his wife and his kids to make up for lost time. So we try to find out who's going to be the next heir. So there was so many candidates at the time, but at the end of the story, Cypher, who was an X-Men character, ends up becoming the new heir. And he changes his name from Cypher to Revelations. Basically, he's basically Apocalypse's next in line.
Oh,
Cyclops, sort of like how Cyclops is
yeah.
Professor Xavier's next in line to be the
Yeah.
leader of the mutant community. So I just finished. I'm still working at reading on that one because I know there's a few issues within those stories I'm going to finish up on. But I also read what else? I've been reading the Absolute Universe books. I just finished Black Lightning. I'll admit that one I finished earlier this year. Black Lightning. What else? The DC Power stuff, the DC Power book, and also Static Both season 1 and 2. And I'm currently reading. I just finished Imperial. I'm waiting for the aftermath of that with the Guardians of the Galaxy because they starting to bring that back as an aftermath to Imperial.
Oh, nice. Hey, I'm going
So,
to show you something real quick.
oh, sure.
This was given to me by my other brother-in-law. He's like, "Here, John, have it." So I know it's a reprint. It's a classic Batman, and it's showing it as $6.99. But
Oh wow.
yeah,
Oh wow. That beautiful,
it
man.
even has the classic advertisements on the back too.
Yeah, no. I've actually got I think I got the X-Men version of that. The somebody gave me I one of the guys that
Gotta
come.
love it, man.
Oh wow. Full
Gotta
reprint from
love the
top to bottom.
throwback artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll admit the golden age I would say they had some free reigns compared to now. Because I'll
yeah,
admit because with the free reigns from the golden age you can get away with certain storylines or have people interpret or probably misinterpret and make things wrong. But now, you know, you still have that creative freedom, but sometimes, certain people might take things the wrong way. But I
right.
can't
We
argue
live
that
in
one
that
at times.
society now.
No, I ain't gonna say it's all society, just say just probably a small chunk.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You got a point. I'm gonna like just put this thing to the side. I'm just gonna ask you something.
sure.
What do you think about the Supergirl trailer, the Supergirl movie trailer?
Oh man, man. And no offense, I'll admit, Supergirl. It
Hmm.
was already funny when she had that cameo on Superman.
Yeah.
But I only had one line. I only had one line when I saw when I saw Superman when she came out. I'm like, are you freaking drunk? I was looking like, how did you go through the side of the Fortress of Solitude? The door is wide open. There's a big door you can see.
Uh-huh.
How? I was like, there's a big door you can see. You could just easily walk through because you're his cousin. You go through the side drunk, and you like, he said, where'd you move the door? I'm looking like nobody ain't moved the door. She's like, now where's my dog? I'm like, I said, now I see where Crypto's problems is. It's you.
Yeah.
You do not have to control. But the trailer, I would say they literally have they literally got me excited for it because I'll admit I ain't gonna say I had little faith in Supergirl. I'll admit I didn't have that because of who was cast. Because
Uh-huh.
because the actress who's got cast, Millie Alcock, is from one of my favorite shows, House of the Dragon.
Oh, how's Dragon? Okay, yeah.
She's the young Rhaenyra Targaryen from season one, and from the flashback, and from the hallucination and flashbacks in season two.
Hmm.
She's the young Rhaenyra Targaryen. So I'm like, okay, I can like this. I like this because not only is she's a great actress, she literally was doing well during the first 5 seasons of that. So I already know she's gonna bring that same work ethic, and and unlike other people at Marvel, no offense to Tom Holland, she ain't saying too much, which got us even more kind of on edge to wonder what's going on. But she did say give a little clue like which book to look at. That would be the
Yeah.
inspiration, which is the World of Tomorrow book from the recent line. So that one, my friend told me that is worth reading because it's sort of like you seen how Superman was raised and how
Yeah.
he goes. Try to look at the dark opposite. That's Supergirl's story right now. That's the storyline that I'm looking forward to seeing because I'm waiting to see how this is gonna build up into because Supergirl itself. Not only is it her coming back to play Supergirl and Crypto's coming back. It's also Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa is coming in as Lobo. I'm thinking like, well, it's
He
about
looks
time.
great. He looks the part.
He does. He already does, and
Yeah.
I was already excited for him being in Doom Part 3, which is coming out. It's supposed to come out either next year or the year after. But him coming in as Supergirl already this early, and that's really one of the most anticipated movies. That's like, I think, what was it? Watch Mojo's. I think it's Mojo's. She was number 12, but I'll admit from the top 20 of upcoming movies coming out, that
Hmm.
was one I was looking forward to because she's number 12, Supergirl's number 12, but number two I got mad about because it's at number two. Avengers Doomsday was at number two, but I got mad about that. But then when I found out what number one was, I'm like, okay, never mind, because I'm excited because who it is. It's Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
Oh yeah.
So that one I'm looking for. I'm looking forward to all three of those because the Odyssey itself I've read a few times. I've read that a few times during a mythology as one of my favorite mythology stories, and that takes place after the Iliad, which is about Helen of Troy.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like a 10-year journey to get back to your wife. And she still chooses not a suitor, still choose to be faithful for 10 years. That's a lot. I'm like that's a lot to go through in 10 years. But I like that it's an all-star cast for the Odyssey. You have Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Lupita Nyong'o, Charlize Theron.
A whole
Uh,
A-list cast.
uh, I like literally, I was surprised who Christopher Nolan was able to pull. Even John
Yeah.
Bernthal. And this is around this time where he's also, I think at the time, I think next year he's also coming back as the Punisher for season two of Daredevil Born Again. Shoot. But yeah, to get back to Supergirl, to see how far this goes and to see how they adapt it and knowing that who the villain's gonna be and knowing that Lobo's gonna be making an appearance, I'm excited to see it because James Gunn has not disappointed in my book when it comes to his adaptations of Guardians of the Galaxy and by extension Superman, Creature Commandos, and also Peacemaker. So knowing that James Gunn is still behind it and still running the universe in a sense, I'm willing to see what comes next. Even
Yeah, and he's sticking to his sources too. Like he's sticking to the comic book, the
exactly.
story. Yeah.
See, and that's something that gives James Gunn a lot of faith from comic book readers, even from me,
Mm-hmm.
because when I usually see James Gunn stories, when I've seen Guardians one through all three Guardians movies, even though he does original stories in a sense, he doesn't diverge away from from the source material as well. So when it came to Superman, it was something original, but he didn't divert from what makes the character unique. He doesn't have like the dark broodiness, or he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
and I'll admit, and no offense to Man of Steel, and I apologize, but Clark Jonathan Kent is still alive, so that's one major part.
Yeah.
But what I do like is that he doesn't just tell us a Superman. He doesn't tell like a superhero story. He's telling a story. He's telling like real deep stories. Like there's one thing I'll admit, it kind of reminded me of me and my father. There's a scene where in Superman where he's at home with his parents, and he literally is on the porch eating a sandwich, and I think he's either eating a sandwich or eating a bowl of cereal. I'm not sure about that part, but he's sitting there, and his dad comes to talk to him because he literally lets him know like what's going on, like he keeps his actual biological father set him here to be a weapon to hurt and destroy humanity, but but it takes somebody really strong to tell their kid like, hey, yo, like just because he sent you here for this doesn't mean that this is what you're meant to do. So he's like, our job as parents is to give you the tools and let you make your own mistakes, and then try to help you get up if we can. But he says, son, I said you've been a great man and a great human being, and I can't be any prouder to be your father. To hear that from a man who didn't have to raise him, who could have gave him up, who could have
Yeah.
literally made his life easier. He chose to be a good human being, to raise this kid, to raise somebody else's kid to be better than better than him, even better than his own parents, according to the Superman story, which is kind of heartbreaking. So I'll admit that part kind of tears me up because it's what any child will want to hear from their parent or their father, or even their adoptive father. It takes a real man to say that. Now, man,
Yeah.
I've had that conversation with my father once, and it still hits me every day. So to hear that in Superman, it kind of, uh, sorry,
It's okay, dude.
yeah, it gets to
That's the one thing I liked about some of the quotes from that movie, and I also like the part when he's talking to Lex about the human aspect.
me. Exactly,
He's showing his he's just like any one of us. The human aspect, like we're going through all our challenges, and him telling Lex as it is.
exactly. It shows you how even with how a man with power, a man who has a power to literally destroy a planet, to literally destroy all of humanity, chooses to be just as human as the rest of us. It
Yeah.
chooses to have humility, grace, respect, and choose to live among us to be better versus Lex, who is egotistical, who hates who he is, who hates what Superman represents, not just as a alien, but as a human being. Because it's like you're jealous of you hate Superman because you hate what he represents, which is hope.
Mm-hmm.
But also it also shows you how if you were to put the two, if you were to take away Lex's ability be immune from Superman because of the government. And you compare him to Superman, who is doing the right thing and chooses to be human. You have two completely opposites. A, humi- a you have a person who is humble, respectful, and also a willing participant of humanity versus a person who has an ego problem, who is xenophobic, and has been a monster for years. Let's be honest. Lex has always been a monster. He always stays a monster, no matter what media you look at. He stays a monster. It's just the fact of you get to see that much more, and then when it's exposed, and when Lex tries to hide it by trying to turn everything into Superman, but then it comes back to bite him when it comes exposed, and it's like, wow, like we like how humanity did turn on Superman in the story, but then they apologize because then they find out how much of a monster Lex really is. It's
Yeah.
like really, like Lex, you're a freaking monster. Superman's been so more humble and a good human being, and yet we judged him on a message that his parent told him that he didn't know, versus what you've done for so many years behind our back, and how much a monster you really are, and how much you're willing to prove at that point, even try to destroy Metropolis and the world just to prove just to prove how egotistical you are. So,
Nice. I'm
but
gonna switch. Let me
go
see.
ahead.
With all the time that we have left, we got 10 minutes left. What do you think about the Street Fighter movie?
Ooh, I
Oh,
always said one thing. I'll tell my brother Derek one thing. We going,
yeah.
because I do love the actors and actresses being picked, especially two of my favorite wrestlers, Cody Rhodes playing Guile,
Roman
and Roman
Reigns
Reigns. Sorry, guys, just
is
one time.
Akuma. Yeah.
The Tribal Chief being Akuma of all people, but seeing Andrew Koji playing Ryu, I
Uh-huh.
love it because I've seen him in both
Warrior.
the Warrior TV
Yeah.
series, and also in Snake Eyes. So to have him do Ryu is perfect. And Noah Centineo putting in the work,
Yeah.
definitely. I did not see him at first, but then when I saw some of the photos and saw the trailer, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I quit, because you know what? I said, just I'll give you the money. I'll give you guys the money. That way in Mortal Kombat too. I'm waiting for the second Mortal Kombat as well. So I'm looking forward to those.
That's
So
good to know. That video game movies are back.
proper video game
Oh
movie
yeah, Jason
adaptations.
Momoa is Blanca.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Reina Valladolid from Cobra Kai is Jury.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was looking
Yeah.
like, because I see her in Cobra Kai, I'm like, dang,
Yeah.
I could,
She's amazing.
yeah. And she's a martial artist. So I was like, dang, I quit.
Yeah, that was a good series. I love Cobra Kai. I loved all the seasons of it. Right when it began on YouTube Red, when it was on YouTube Red, and then they
Moved to
signed on with
Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah, loved it. Whew. So, what do you think about the podcast interview so far? It's very chill, right? I mean, we're just
Yeah,
on camera. That's the only thing that's different.
exactly. It's just usual, like we usually would talk if we were face to face. And I'll admit, face to face I'm so used to, but doing this works just as well, because it's just
Yeah.
us genuinely talking.
Oh yeah. And we
Excuse me.
haven't seen each other. I mean, we've been communicating, but we just haven't seen each other in the
Yeah,
longest time.
yeah,
This
you
is
telling
worth
me.
it, man.
Most
Yeah,
definitely.
the stars are aligned tonight, my friend.
Most definitely they are.
Yeah. Oh, 2 more days from now. That's Avatar. Are you gonna see the Avatar Fire and Ash movie?
Kind of 50-50 on it, because it's just I've been hearing reviews like they saying it's only at 70%, but I kind of want to
Mm-hmm.
see it because I only heard one rumor so far that Avengers Doomsday's trailer is attached to it. I
Yeah.
do want to see, but I also want to see it genuinely because I do like James Cameron as a director, and I've seen the
Mm-hmm.
first one, and I say recently I just saw the second one, so I know usually the third one hits like a strike, just like who is it I just saw recently? Ryan Johnson's Knives Out movie, Wake Up Dead Man. The third one really hits hard with that one as well.
Yeah.
So usually the third one in a good series usually hits hard. So I already know that with Avatar, I already know that seeing Fire and Ash is going to be very different, especially knowing that there's a group of Na'vi who have disavowed, who feel abandoned, and seeing how they are in the trailer, it's like, geez, I thought the RDF was harsh, man. I mean, y'all way worse. I'm like, y'all much harsher than the RDF.
Yeah. I'm still so into, the first movie, of course, that can never be beat. I just like how it slowly introduced us to the world of, the Navi, after showing that more of the technical thing going on with the humans and trying to take over that, a certain part of the land just to get certain resources.
I mean, that's how it is now in our society.
Yeah. Oh
But
yeah.
it's a statement that he's making while using sci-fi. He's making a statement, which is what I saw like about James Cameron when he makes like the Avatar movie. He's
Yeah.
making a
And there's a
statement that
lesson to learn from.
exactly.
He said that it's depending on how this movie does well or not, we'll decide whether if he's gonna, go on making another one.
Well, I know for sure that there's one actor I think that's supposed to make an appearance. He's supposed to be the setup for 4 and 5. Uh,
Oh yeah.
David David Thewlis, David Thewlis from I think that's his name, David Thewlis from
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter.
Okay.
He's I forgot the teacher's name. He's the one who had who was conflicted with lycanthropy from
Okay.
from the order, not the Order of the Phoenix, from Prisoner of Azkaban.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the one. He'll be in the third one, but his character is supposed to be the setup for 4 and 5. So I'm
Oh
not
wow.
surprised if they make the money back, if they do make the financial money back, and people are gonna go see it anyway because I already know people are gonna
Yeah.
love it. Just like how
Yeah.
people are gonna go see Avengers Doomsday when it comes out next year in December, and also Spider-Man Brand New Day. So
Yeah.
people are interested about those because the thing about Brand New Day is that this is like be a brand new start, so he can tell the darker stories. Like I've been wanting to itch that ever since Tom Holland was Spider-Man, and he's coming back for
Yeah.
a fourth time, but now they're telling a darker story because you have because his new mentor is going to be John Berthenol's Punisher,
Oh yeah.
so it's going to be his mentor in this one for the fourth one. But you also got Bruce Banner coming back, but also Scorpion and I saw a mark on one of the tanks on one of the photographs. If I'm correct, I believe that it's going to be the Devil's Tribe, which is the gang
Mm.
group for Mr. Negative. So I believe that Mr. Negative is coming in, but I think they just holding on to who's going to play him, because
Uh-huh.
if they say who it is, it's going to be shocking. Because they already have some shocks from saying that the actor who plays Matt Gargan from the first one, Homecoming,
Uh-huh.
He's coming back to be Scorpion in this one. And Tombstone's going to be in this in part two, but it's going to be the actor who played Tobias White in Black Lightning.
Black Lightning, yeah. I remember him.
He's going to be playing Tombstone.
Nice.
So I already know his wordplay is going to be just harsh. I'm just going to like how he talking Black Lightning. I was like, geez. I'm like, man, I feel like I feel severely insulted as an African American, as a comic book fan. I'm like, dang, I feel insulted what he just said. I'm like, what did he just say? So I'm expecting that from him to play when he plays Tombstone. So I already know it's gonna be coming. So
Oh, question I want to ask you, and
sure.
it's for another movie. Who do you think should follow in Chadwick Boseman's shoes as the Black Panther? What actor would be a good replacement,
Man, I'll admit
or taking over? Yeah,
that's a really
role.
difficult one in general. Man, there's so
Everyone's
many good.
talking about Damson Idris, and then someone's talking about Aldous Hodge.
Well, I would say that's kind of difficult because for somebody to play Black Panther again, I'll
Mm-hmm.
admit I feel like the idea that instead of trying to replace T'Challa, I think that you should just age up his son. That would be the only
Yeah,
smart thing to do, because
that's what I think
to
too.
kill off to have his character die off and then come back from the dead out of nowhere, it's kind of partially insulting to not only the Black Panther legacy, but also by extension, Chadwick Boseman's
Yeah.
legacy. So for me, it's a lot of people on the list. Jameson Idris, I would say, is partially on my list because of not just because of Snowfall, because of also in F1
Oh,
with
I
Brad
love him
Pitt.
in F1. That was a good movie.
Like him in
Yeah.
F1 and then some other projects. And then Aldous Hodge, I would say he'd be another perfect fit. I would say I would like Aldous Hodge also because the reason why I say this because of DC's dropping the ball on Black Adam.
Oh, he was Hawkman. He was Hawkman, right? Yeah.
Exactly. It's like I, when it came to Black Adam, and I'll be honest with this, I
Hmm.
enjoyed it I enjoyed it just as an action film, but the story wise, it's like y'all could have did a lot more with Aldous Hodges as Hawkman and Pierce Brosnan as Doctor Fate, and let alone all the other characters. But you can't blame the studio too much on this one because as much as you can blame the studio, you gotta blame the actor too.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to insult Dwayne the Rock Johnson. I swear I'm not trying to, but you can't just bully your way into making yourself into the rival for Superman.
Right.
Because the thing would have been smart would be for him to have an appearance in Shazam in both the first and the second one. That would have built up his movie just having a cameo, and then him being in the second one after and it take place after this show. Like, hey, there's something going on because they're both part of the same grouping of magic with the same wizard. But my thing is, at the end of the day, it's like Aldous Hodge. Also, another thing, the reason got me interested about Aldous Hodge is his him on his TV show Cross
Yeah. I heard about
on
Cross.
Amazon Prime.
I have to
Him,
check that out. Yeah.
this is
It's
the
good.
I would say I love him as Cross more than I love Tyler Perry as Alex Cross
Yeah.
because there's only a few people who play Alex Cross. There's Morgan Freeman, Tyler
Yeah.
Perry, and not Aldous Hodge. Morgan Freeman has a full pass for life as Alex Cross because he did a great job in two movies.
Yeah.
Tyler Perry, I mean, it was enjoyable, but it had like it didn't hit like I thought it would. But Aldous
Hmm.
Hodge, but I feel like the Crossbook should have been a TV show anyway because there's a lot of stories to read from that. You can't just do one movie, one or two movies. You got to have a whole like series to tell of his different scenarios because he goes through a lot of scenarios. He goes through a lot of stuff in the books. So to have Aldous Hodge to play this character is a real like blessing. So that's why I'm like Aldous Hodge's Black Panther. I would go for that. But to find someone outside of those two, man, it's a whole list of people. Ah, man, because I was thinking about who is it? I was thinking about the actor who played uh, uh the actor who played Finn in Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
I was
John
thinking him.
Boyega.
Yeah, I was thinking him because he has the temperament. He has the action role. He has the action because he already doing Attack the Block. And he's also doing part two to that. But I think he'd be also good as Black Panther in a sense of, you know, he can do he can do the action scenes. He can be emotional. He's done emotional films. Like he literally has done films that literally have you tugging on your heartstrings a bit. But I also know that with his busy schedule with Attack the Block too, I don't think him being offered a contract would be difficult unless they were to do something different. Or, and this is me doing being a stretch, Michael B. Jordan coming back to play not T'Challa, but to play a revived Killmonger because it shows
Hmm.
you. But Killmonger itself, Killmonger is one of those characters where you like if he comes back in the picture, you gotta have a valid reason to bring him back. But I also
Yeah.
know that I wouldn't want him as an actor to go through the mental stuff as well because he said himself that when he did Black Panther after he finished playing Killmonger, he had to go through therapy. So to come back and have to undo that therapy again, it'd be kind of difficult because I'll admit that's a really hard character to bring about, and this is a character that you really want to side with. And even though
Hmm.
he's a villain, just like Thanos, in the Infinity War and Endgame, and just like Loki, you have this kid. This is a character who you want to side with because he has some valid points. He has some valid points and some valid point of views about our situation as society and what should be done to help it. Or, but it's just I feel like going about it the wrong way, or he doesn't know any other way other than violence, which is what he's already seen already and is going through his going through at the military when he was in the military. So, but it's difficult to pick somebody to play Black Panther. That's really one of those really like you gotta really find somebody deep. Like
What do
I
you think
can't.
about Denzel's son, who was in the Tenet movie?
You talking about Oh
Who's
yeah, you know what?
yeah.
You should have brought that up. That might work because he's actually done some great jobs both in Tenet and he's done emotional stuff. And
Uh
also
huh.
if you want to make him a little funny, uh, if you ever seen the TV show Ballers with Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he was in that. He's fun. He's partially funny, especially when he does something real stupid. So I think that he can
Yeah.
do it. So I would say yeah, Denzel's son can do
Okay.
it, but I already know it'd be kind of difficult because Denzel's already going to be in the third one as well.
Yeah.
Because Black Panther 3 is going to be part of his retirement tour.
All right. I'm going to switch to another superhero. We can think about Lanterns. That's going to be coming on
Ooh,
HBO.
ooh,
That guy looks great as Stewart, John Stewart.
not just him. Kyle Chandler as
Oh
Hal
yeah.
Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but I like that it's going to be a tone similar to even though it's a superhero TV show, and
Yeah.
you have two great actors. Let me take that back. Three great actors because
Mm-hmm.
you have Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan, Aaron Pierre from Mufasa and Rubber Ridge playing John
Oh,
Stewart,
Rebel Ridge. Love that movie.
and also Nathan Fillion coming back to play Guy Gardner. Better
Oh
known as,
yeah, Nathan Fillion.
better known, excuse my language, the asshole Green Lantern. The Green Lantern nobody don't want to deal with. Basically, the one person that that got pimp slapped by Batman, and to shut him up, and literally still feels insulted to this day by getting pimp slapped by Batman. But if it's gonna be, I would say I love the story that I don't. There is no telling what the story is yet, which is what I like. The only
Hmm.
give vague details like it's an intergalactic mystery that takes place on Earth. That's the only thing that they told so much about because
Uh-huh.
I think if they tell too much, it spoils what's coming up in Gods and Monsters. Yeah, for the rest of
Yeah.
Chapter One, Gods and Monsters. But to have these actors come in, you have you have an experienced actor in Kyle Chandler playing one of the most major Green Lantern superheroes that we know. Same thing for Aaron Pierre playing John Stewart because this is also a well-known character. Nathan Fillion playing Guy Gardner, it's kind of gives a little comedic tone, but also
Yeah.
you get to see probably might see him more serious, similar to how he is in the Rookie, how he's kind of more
Hmm.
similar, like more serious.
Yeah.
But I do like that but I do feel like as though the feeling is going to be similar to True Detective from HBO's True Detectives. That's the similar tone that they're going for
Oh.
Lanterns. So you're going to see like similar like a darker tone. So like you've seen like season one with Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, like the
Yeah.
first season. even I'll say the third season with Mahershala Ali and Stephen Dorff and Carmi Ejogo, that darker tone. You're gonna get that darker tone from that from Lantern. So I already know I'm gonna enjoy it because not only is it gonna be just a superhero story, it's gonna be one of those where you can spread out a story that'll build up something bigger. And I want to see how it goes because I don't want to spoil too much because I try not to spoil too much because how season two ended up with Peacemaker and sort of
Yeah.
finding out that the source book that he's using is Salvation Run. I want to see how Lantern's gonna build into that. 'Cause I'm wondering if something happens where because of what what Rick Flag does in at the end of season two is gonna come back to bite everyone because of his mistake, which is already what seems gonna happen already in Man of Tomorrow, which is not until like another 2 years
Yeah.
because and it's already kind of given you're not only because I'll put it like this because of Rick Flag's ego and because of his vengeance, he's basically just gave what Lex needed to go get to give him an even playing shot against Superman, in a sense. That's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil the ending for anybody.
Okay.
I don't want to. I'm trying to respect everybody who hasn't seen the show yet because it's already crazy enough from. Just, I do want to spoil one part
Okay.
to find out that they ended up on Earth X of all places. What in the heck? Like my girl, like I was literally laughing at that, and I showed my girlfriend that
Uh-huh.
she was laughing at that because we all like because when Peacemaker's alternate brother pulled up, he stops the car. He's like, "Eh." They start talking to all. He's like, one got out, a black. I'm like, what the heck is that supposed to mean? I'm looking like, why is everybody running for her? And then you saw the flag. I'm like, are you kidding me? I look like Peacemaker. No offense, you're an idiot. How could you not pay attention to details? You are a trained assassin and a killer, but you do not pay attention to details. Why did you not notice that? Even I would have noticed it and been like, no, I'm out, I'm going back. But
Oh
I was
man.
laughing at that.
Woo. Man, we had a great time today, man. We're already approaching the 2 hour and 17-minute mark here on this podcast, and it's good to have you on again. It was worth it. First of all, guys, thank you very much for watching this episode of the 2400 Block Podcast. My special guest, once again, is Donte Washington over there in Chicago. Thank you very much, Donte, for coming to this podcast here tonight. Thanks for dedicating some time, over 2 hours worth, by the way. And yeah, I definitely would like to, talk to you again at some point.
No problem. Anytime, man. Thank you for the opportunity. I really do appreciate you bring me on your show. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thanks for checking out this episode of 2400 Block Podcast. Don't forget to follow and subscribe.